after like the third wave and assault of zombies after making noise, she knew when to be quiet. So when we had like after that and she was still being loud, I was like, girl, think straight for a second. Hi, I'm Gabe.
And I'm Kat. And we're
the Ghouls Next Door.
The Ghouls Next Door.
Yeah, we're the Ghouls Next Door. Happy November.
Mm-hmm.
We survived October.
We survived spooky season. We're getting back to or approaching our regular scheduled programming.
Yeah. Still doing some fun stuff. We're starting a new series of animated content and talking about the horror of that. Having some fun at the end of the year, trying to bring it to a close with some things that are maybe enjoyable for some. Yeah, and we are the Ghouls Next Door, a media literacy show from a horror lens where we explore the real life, historical, psychological, cultural influences behind our cinematic fears. And kicking off this animated horror series, we are talking about Seoul Station, which is the animated prequel to Train to Busan, which is one of our all-time favorite zombie films.
Yeah. No, Train to Busan is like next level.
Yeah.
Have a great watch with friends or watch by yourself. Like it holds up in either way, like top tier.
Mm-hmm. It slaps.
Media. Yeah.
Yeah. Train to Busan is really great. I don't think I've ever met anyone who was like, eh.
It like scratches all the itches of like what you want zombie media to be doing in terms of just like a fun time for you to experience. And also like it's saying stuff, but it's like subtle and it's also very emotional. I like the end. I still can like think about it and be like feelings or best dad feelings.
Yeah.
Like it's just really powerful.
Yeah.
Piece of zombie media without like making you so depressed. Like you get sad, but like you don't feel like you don't want to go do things the next day after watching it. Like it's a fun time.
Yeah.
While also still being serious. And
Korea is so well known and well suited for horror. They do it really well. And drama too. Like I also like feel like we're sometimes kindred spirits in a lot of ways with America and Korea, and that like South Korea specifically, where we have some similar like political issues and like
capitalism,
right,
patriarchy,
exactly, right. And it's always kind of like watching some of that media is kind of like looking into a mirror, except you know they handle their things differently, and their culture impacts a lot of the ways that they like interpret or like work through some of those issues. In America being a country of immigrants and not really having a culture to say the least, like we have cultures, and so it's
within it,
right.
Yeah,
so we don't have like one that's like this is how we navigate things, and that's the one thing you gotta fix. It's that simple.
Let's hop in. Let's we're covering Seoul Station, and what is that about?
So Seoul Station is from 2016. Feels like a whole other world ago. It is about...
They called it before the pandemic. That's crazy.
It would be a different story, I think, too.
Yeah.
But it's about several groups of people try to survive a zombie pandemic that unleashes itself in downtown Seoul. And is directed by Yeon Sung-ho. And the focus of Seoul Station, so where Train to Busan, there were like themes and like political commentary, things like that, like cultural commentary that was happening. It was really subtle. It was, you can absolutely pick up on it, but it wasn't something that was like overt. Seoul Station is heavy-handed. It's like, it's about this, which, I do enjoy even when things are heavy-handed, especially when you just get that opportunity to not have to think. Like spoon feed you. I'm like, thank you. Seoul Station is definitely that. At the beginning, see this one man who is sick and he like kind of shambles forward, and he's outside of Seoul Station, and there are these people there these like guys who are like, oh, should we go help that man? And then when they approach him, they realize that he is most likely of the houseless population. He doesn't have shoes. He's not looking too hot. And so they immediately recoil and are like, oh, I was going to help him, but he's a homeless. And they keep saying that like it's a slur, which is, I don't know if it's a translation thing or that's like specifically how they would refer to it. But yeah, they were like, he's, we're not going to help him. And so then he kind of shambles off and just sits beside what we then see as revealed is that a large chunk of this homeless population lives like outside of Seoul Station or inside. They sleep there. And Seoul Station is this large train station, train to Busan, where people are, like the houseless population is staying. And they kind of built their community close by. There's like police stations, there's centers for them to kind of like almost like a lottery system, like you get there at a certain time or what have you can sleep in there. In the shelter, there's also like food, and there are programs that are there clearly, but it's obvious that like nobody truly cares about these people.
Yeah, and that they like use their houselessness as a way to like remove their humanity.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is like it starts immediately sad. And I will say, like, we were going into this right after spooky season, so we were very tired. So I actually appreciated how heavy-handed it was at times, because I was like, my brain does not have the spoons right now to be like picking up subtle.
Yeah.
So I think because of when we watched it, I actually really appreciated how heavy-handed it was. But I feel like maybe in a different month, I maybe would have felt differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, it starts immediately sad and it stays that way through basically the entire time. And just really focusing in on the ways that like we dehumanize each other based on our capacity to function within society and how that like trickles down to all different facets of people's ways of life. And
it like starts right out the gate there with like we're literally seeing a zombie, and you think he turns around, he sees him, he's kind of sick, that he might be concerned about that, and that's not the case. He's like, oh, I can't help this man because he doesn't have a home, and so therefore is not worthy of me caring. And so we see his community that he's built, and he has a friend of his in the English subs, they call him bro. Which like it's like brother. True. They call him Hyung, which is like a affectionate brother term, and so it's just like your friend that means something to you. And so seeing bro is it's just weird. It's like a linguistic thing. I think like there's a certain type of person.
I think bro in America or in English like doesn't hold as much like I love that guy. Yeah. Like he's my family.
Right. Right.
It's more just like bro.
So it was like a little like that was funny, but then you're looking into like he really was trying so hard to help him, and
he cared a lot about
ran
him.
Everywhere. And so through him we get to see all of the different structures that are supposedly in place to support them. So you see, like the shelter, and they're like, sorry, we don't have anyone. You see them going to the police station trying to get medical help. He goes eventually to a pharmacy, and he's like, can I get some Tylenol? Like literally anything to help my bro here, and then finds him dead. And like it's so traumatic because he was failed. Like this man was really trying so hard to find all the support he could, and like him going back to the police station and be like, you killed him. And like
because they did,
and they like try to dismiss him even then, and then when like he's not there because he's a zombie, they completely dismiss him, and they're like, you're crazy. And so he's just like reeling. And then we also have Hae-sun, who is our primary protagonist for this, who is a young woman who is also about to be homeless. She lives in a house that she can't, or an apartment she
That they
can't really
can't afford,
afford
yeah.
the rent. She has a partner who is, throwing away money, and he spends all day, instead of having a job, he spends his time at a video game cafe, and she's working.
And it's like,
yeah. And then he
Yeah.
tries to put her up to do sex work to get them money. So he tries to
Yeah.
pimp her out. And so that's like our other character that we're seeing. And so like these are the people that we're following throughout. When the zombie apocalypse starts, which was, with the origin of that one houseless man, it kind of kicks off and it spreads like wildfire because like wildflowers, because of the congestion of houseless people at the Seoul Station. Like everyone was like getting ready to go to bed. Like they were finding blankets that are put away for them. Like, they're going back to like, the one space they have to feel like even kind of safe, and it's a routine for them. And so they're all like congregated in these specific areas. And so when it spreads, it's like, it's happening. And because it is the homeless population that is being attacked and are behaving this way, it doesn't get addressed like fast enough.
Like with a seriousness. Yeah. Like they don't have like the medical supports in place, or like the care from people external to the homelessness community, like, or houselessness community, that are like going to help or step in. If anything, like they're immediately like, oh, go away. Go away. You're in the police station, like asking for help. Boo. You don't
we have to help real people.
Take care of you. Yeah. And it's like, they are real people.
Right. It's like,
and if y'all helped, maybe we wouldn't be in the zombie situation.
Right. And a lot of the like dialogue is very heavy handed in that way, where they're like there's often times where they're like, no, I'm not going to help you. You're houseless. Like you're a homeless person. I'm not going to do that.
Wear your shoes. Yeah. Like,
right. Yeah. And so like, it's really, really heavy handed in that, where sometimes you're like, okay. And essentially like his son ends up with the homeless population running from the zombies, and because she like falls down these stairs, she loses her shoes, and so she, after being like like chased down and like assaulted by zombies, herself looks like she's a homeless person, and so she is like kind of lumped in with them. She is in contact with this POS boyfriend who like reminding you did try to pimp her out at the beginning of this. When the zombies happen, he is actually with a man who he is introduced to as being Hae-sun's father. Because this boyfriend had put her face up to offer her up for sex work, he had been alerted by someone. And so this father figure shows up and is like, help me find her. I need to find her.
And it's like so resolute that you're like, oh yeah, of course, like the dad wants to find his daughter. Like it's who would care in this way if not her father? Like he's so determined. He puts himself in harm's way. He's out there with the zombies and like
And for a prequel to Train to Busan, which features two dads, right?
Yeah,
of
like
daughters.
Dad.
So we have like that relationship is very much like something we're quick to absorb and
accept.
Hae-sun, like she has like this moment of vulnerability in the beginning before the zombies show up, where she's like beating herself up over like her life and just the fact that she isn't doing well. Like she's trying to go to school, she's trying to do things, she's trying to make something of herself, and had been a sex worker before this. And so she, in that moment where she's having that breakdown and crying, she's like, Oppa, she is crying for her father, and she apologizes to her father in this like ambiguous way. She talks about him having been sick, that she clearly ran away from home. And so she has this relationship with her father. And so you are rooting, like, honestly, like the boyfriend is kind of still like a POS the whole time, and he's doing ridiculous things because he is afraid. And so he does he's not
a brave human.
No, he does a lot of like bad things. And so it's just like, oh my God, he's gonna like get this man killed. He's gonna get himself killed. It's gonna be, like all these cliches. But everyone like perseveres. And Hae-sun actually ends up like following this other homeless person, this old man, and he has some of the really heartbreaking lines, but I'd say out of all of them is like one of the only people who like is fighting to survive and is doing it in any type of intelligent way.
Yeah. And also it's just like, he was my favorite character the whole time, and following him is, he just, as you said, he has like the best lines, and it's just very heartbreaking, and you want him to win, and he's fighting to like keep going and also like protect the like Hae-sun in moments as well. So it's just like frustrating at times, witnessing the ways that like he's really pushing and like other people are not pushing to meet him or support him at all.
He like, you know, it's clear he's been, you know, doing this for a long time and has lived this way for a long time. So he's endured a lot of pain and a lot of ridicule, a lot of dismissive people of authority, right? And so like he's really quick to be like, this is a structural thing. Stuff is going on. I am, you know, in danger and I just want to survive. And he's also really vulnerable and sensitive too.
No, like at the moment where they're walking on the train tracks and she says, I just want to go home. And then like he starts crying because he also just wants to go home. And then it just like means so much extra because you know that like he literally does not have a home, and like that the country is not taking care of its people essentially for everyone to have a home, and just like the devastation of that. And like, you really like feel the pain. If anything, like as heavy-handed and rough as this film was, like it does build empathy for people like overall, like of like honestly, if you were going into it and you were like homelessness meh, and then you watch it and now you're like, oh my god, no, we're all just people and we all just need love and we all just need people to take care of each other and like be there for each other. At least that's my hope. I think it is definitely an empathy building movie, even though at times it was frustrating or difficult to watch.
People are making very poor decisions, or just like
human, I guess, in some ways.
Human for sure. And then also like there was like that overarching like villainy of people, like, you know, the first wave of zombies when they finally like the people are running and they end up in the police station and the police are like, you guys are being crazy. And then it ends up being this thing where it's like, oh, the homeless population are sick and hurting us. And it's a us versus them, when it's like, okay, but police officers also got bit. Like, you know,
they're also a zombie over there. Like, your coworker is very much still a zombie. You're bit. And are going to turn into a zombie. Like, there's a lot of like heavy-handed moments like that where you're like, okay, what are we doing? But it is really genuine. Like there is that divide throughout a good amount of it between like quote unquote normal people and the homeless people. But then it really does become just like this battle to like get to safety and not really having that. And like that's really interesting. I think the man that she's following, like he's just like, he doesn't have the answer. Like he does not have an answer. And I think that's really strong, is that he's just like trying to go to the shadowy places that had been a place of hope or safety for him. Because that's all he has, right? Like he doesn't have a place to go. And she has this person who's continually calling her and like trying to meet up with her, trying to find her. And so she holds on to that, but she makes a lot of terrible decisions. She was awful. She screamed a lot. She cried a lot. I was just like, I know that that's exactly what you do because you're not thinking. But I was like, after like the third wave and assault of zombies, after making noise and like, she knew when to be quiet. So when we had like after that and she was still being loud, I was like, girl, think straight for a second. It was very much like, I totally resonate, like that someone would react this way during a zombie apocalypse. Like, I think it was very realistic, but it was frustrating. Like, it's like, it was definitely a movie like you're watching and you want to yell at the TV.
Yeah.
Because she kept doing things where you're just like, babe, can you just
Yeah.
for 2 seconds get it together? And I understand why you're not, but like, oh my God. And like, you keep getting people killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're just like putting yourself and others in danger because you're not rising to the occasion. And I get like, it's also like the infrastructure was not set up to like help her rise to the occasion. Like, she was struggling a lot before the zombies happened. And I really thought, like, in the neurodivergent predictor thing, like, I thought it was going to be like All of Us Are Dead, where like it's going to seem like all this stuff that she's dealing with, like with the boyfriend posting her online and like that wouldn't matter when zombies happened. And it was like, I was trying to predict the ending. I was trying to predict like her path and like what was going to happen. And I will give this film very much that. I could not predict anything. Everything surprised. I thought was going to happen actively didn't happen. And everything like continuously throughout the whole film, like there was nothing I could predict and think was going to happen that like did. I was wrong the whole time. And it's like, it was actually kind of refreshing in that way, because I feel like usually like we'll text each other and be like, I think this is going to happen. And we're usually right.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, oh, well, that's good. I guess we're smart. That's nice.
Right.
But it was nice to be like so actively surprised throughout this film. So kudos on that. Like,
yeah.
We were wrong. we
Yeah.
thought different things and we were wrong.
This is like episode 316. Okay, we've watched a lot of horror films.
Yeah.
We've watched a lot of zombie films.
We've noticed the patterns.
And yeah, it is, that part is refreshing. Yeah, we've noticed the patterns to the point of like, we can sometimes pinpoint when to stop watching something to preserve our sanity sometimes. Be like, okay.
Yeah. Like within the first 20 minutes, like we kind of know what's going to happen at the end. Almost pretty consistently. Like even like we still watch it most of the time just to like make sure we're right. But like a lot of the time we predict the plot within the first 20 minutes.
And
so
I was on board. I was like, for sure that's what's going to happen. It felt like that's where it was going, and then it completely surprised. I was like, "What?" Like, it has a very big twist that I won't share. I think like I think it's worth watching. I will say it isn't scary. I not in the least. I think the animation style itself is a bizarre style. It felt flat, kind of like unnatural, like, and I get it's animated, right? But it didn't feel fun. It didn't have like depth to it. and so that jankiness was weird. But then also like the zombies were not really scary. They're Kay, you mentioned at some point like there was a lack of sound design. And so like we didn't have like music also informing us of what to feel. Yeah, and it was like almost comedic at sometimes where like the car pulled up and like hit the zombies and like there was no thudding or like it made like a really funny sound where I was like, that's not whoever sound designed this, like that wasn't the right note to be putting in there. Or like the zombie would like make a sound but it really just sounded like someone like gargling water. Like little thing like like it just, there are pieces there I was like, this is kind of funny, like I see how we got here, but there's like not enough sound design to really like, as Gabe said, like give you the emotions you're supposed to feel, but also like create tension and like build dread. It just was kind of flat in that way. So I don't know if that was intentional or not. I couldn't I couldn't tell you. I feel like when you have, it was like if you turn the volume down like in Train to Busan and all you saw was like everyone running around really chaotically and but like you didn't have but even some of the shots of that are like really engaging, like in Train to Busan. There's a really great like sequence of events in the way that it's shot that builds the tension as well. Like you get like subtle like foreshadowing to certain people. Like you see these people almost in full. And the fact that it's like, it's a movie that takes place on one, like in a train, right? Like there's not a lot of moving around in Train to Busan, like besides forward, backward, in these cars. And yet like that momentum and that like the driving force and tension is still very present, even in that confined space. Versus this, where we're kind of getting a wealth of soul here. Like we're going into different neighborhoods. We're going through, like, we're subterranean, we're in apartment buildings, we're in train stations, we're in the police station. Like, we go a lot of places, and it still felt like I didn't really know where we were going. Like, I didn't know where the goal was for a lot of it. And I think that is important, because they don't really have a goal, because where can they go? Yeah. They don't have a home, right? Like, where, you know, Hae-sun was crying and saying she wanted to go home. It wasn't that she wanted to go home to her shitty apartment with this boyfriend. Yeah. That's not where she wanted to go. She wanted to go home to her dad, which is not so much that house either. She wanted to go home, like, in so, like, where she felt safe, right? Yeah. In the more abstract sense of, like, where someone would love and take care of her, where she could be herself, where she could feel, you know, not in terror or uncertainty and, like, the trauma just from, you know, not knowing. And so when he returns, like, I also want to go home, but I don't have one. I get he's saying it because, like, he was, he's houseless, and so he doesn't have a home to go to, but he was also adding to it that he doesn't even have anyone who feels like home either. Yeah. Like, he doesn't have even kind of an idea of what home would be. It's purely made up for him.
It is interesting too, because when you were saying that, it really made me think a little bit more about Hae-sun, and, like, kind of like the ways where she would react, like, very childlike, where you're just like, bro, what are you doing? But, like, it was very kid-like, where she just wanted someone to, like, come get her and put her in a hug and be like, I got you. Yeah. Like, we're good. Like, it was very, like, I just want someone to lift me up off the ground. Like, I'm a little kid. Hold me and run. Yeah. Because I can't cope with this. Like, I need home. I need, like, a parental person who's going to, like, save me from this. And, like, the safety of that. Like, when you're a kid, you have the best scenarios, like, your needs taken care of. And, like, if there is something scary, you have someone standing in the way of that and, like, protecting you. Yeah. And, like, for that was probably home for her. And also, I guess, like, everyone copes with trauma differently. So, like, it made me realize that, like, maybe that was her coping mechanism, is that she reverted kind of, like, to her childlike self and, like, wanting someone to just pick her up and run and protect her from the scary things, like a little kid. Yeah, for sure. Because that's what home is. And it was so far away in this new reality where she's with this man who clearly does not, like, care for her in the way that she needs, and then also, like, has to do with, like, men looking at her like an object. Oh yeah. She's not a little kid. She is prey, essentially, to be, like,
she's another victim.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and even, like, to the point,
the innocence or loss of it.
Yeah. Because she did it, I do believe it's, like, mentioned that she ran away pretty young. You know, and even at that time her father was sick. So I think, like, she wasn't even getting fully that, like, care. And I don't know if, like, clearly she ran away, so something was going on, right? So it wasn't, you know, rainbows and kittens over there, but it was something more than what she has, to the point where she is, you know, reaching out to and asking for support from this partner who she was very much over at the beginning of this. She was like, no, we're done. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, and she was just regretting her choice of trying to build a life with this man. And he really was like, I know he was being pulled along by this man, but he was, like, trying, like, which is, I was like, I was not expecting, I'm gonna be fully honest, of liking that, like, man. Actually,
care about her at any point within this, like, because he starts so bad. Yeah. Where I'm like, you don't love her. Like, but then by the end, I did kind of believe that.
Yeah, he did. He, like, just was, like, kind of messed up.
Yeah, and like, he needed this tragedy to kind of make him realize that he did care about her, I guess, or, like, yeah,
because, like, he does, like, put his body on the line, and he is, like, kind of pushed through it, but they endure so much that at some point I, like, kind of forgot. Like, I was I was just like, oh yeah, her boyfriend, and then, like, it wasn't until the end where I was like, wait a second, he tried to sell her. Like, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, pause, like. Because I was like, oh, yay, like, they're going to be together. I'm, like, really rooting love for story. This. Yeah. Yeah. It's very much like that, where there's so much going on, and any little bit of humanity is helpful. But there's also, like, again, there's like just human to human interactions. Like that's, the zombie film 101, right? Like there's an instance where like Young and the old man are running through the subway and they're trying to get under a cage, and this woman like comes bounding at them, and she's weird, and she yells at them, and she's just like, "Are you guys trying to screw in here?" And it's like so bizarre. She's like calls them disgusting, even though she's like so weird, and it's like, girl, and we don't see anything happen to her. So we don't even know what's going on.
No, it was like a weird, like, we're gonna feel scared because like, oh, they're trapped.
Something's coming,
but it like wasn't.
And that's like another funny moment that could have had like a sting or something. Like, something silly, but it wasn't. It was just like, what just happened? What's happening right now? And so like,
the absurdity of everything.
That was funny. And then like, there are moments like where survivors are trying to survive, and the government. So what we also saw in All of Us Are Dead is the government, like cordoning off and trying to keep the infection at bay, which means that the people who are in those areas who maybe are not infected are just like, we've given up. We can't take a chance.
Yeah, no, very much very similar to All of Us Are Dead, where like you kind of just see like the government fail in such like an obvious and like cruel way, where like they should be trying to protect people, and instead they're worried about like orders and like, we don't know what's happening, so we need to wait. We don't care about those people. Like they're on the wrong side. Like it's kind of like you're on the wrong side of the tracks. Like so we can't care about you. You're behind that bus, so we're going to spray you with the water, and you can't come over here because over here is safe. And it's like, nothing was safe for any of these people before the zombies. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah. And I will say, like, we do get this, like, bit of humanity where the survivors have like work together because they make like a barrier, and there's a few of them who are putting their lives on the line, who are trying to like keep the zombies
like actively trying to fight.
And it's like, I was like, that's a lot of work on those 3 people. I was like, why are people not tapping in and like supporting?
Yeah, it was like there were so many people on the other side of that fence that like, I get like being scared, but like they weren't helping them, and they were the ones making sure that they were okay.
Yeah, like if
they would
go
not
down,
have been safe in there. Yeah. And like they were not recognizing that.
Yeah. So there's like, it was like some weirdness with that too. It just like escalates to something terrible, and similar to All of Us Are Dead. It's just like deemed like, the lives of those few are a worthy sacrifice for the lives of the many on the other side of this. Like we like sometimes we, you got to break a few eggs, is what this government says. Very unfortunately. But, and it's, like you said, it's so very overt and obvious in its messaging, because like there is, real crisis in Seoul specifically, but also just South Korea with their houseless population. We did some digging because we're not from there. When I visited, I will say they like, people are put away, like the areas where like tourists and, we were mostly tourist areas, but even when we weren't, I couldn't tell you, like there was a few areas where I saw people who I assumed were houseless and were still being taken care of and treated in a different way. But it's like, they tuck people away. Like that's, and so there's also, KU found some, information about the way that they keep those statistics that also influences why people are saying the number has gone down.
Yeah, the rating of houselessness population, like it hasn't gone up by much, and it's also gone down in different categories, but the way that they classify homelessness is like a large component of why lots of people are not picked up as being listed as houseless. Essentially, like they do not include a lot of people in their statistical data. Specifically, they exclude children, women in domestic violence shelters, migrants or refugees in protection facilities, and disabled people in social welfare institutions, unless those facilities are officially classified as welfare centers for homeless people. And they also don't classify like people who are unable to pay for their own place and are sleeping on someone's couch. So like people who are like staying with friends or family are not classified as homeless, even though they technically are. Like and in America, I know that it's a thing where it's like our data is sometimes skewed similarly, where it's like if you're couch surfing, you may not be classified, or it depends on like how you get roped in. And if you do end up in a shelter at various points, you might get clocked within the numbers. But in Korea, they exclude a lot of people from the statistics. So it kind of skews the results in a way that would seem positive, in that like in 2024, 1 in every 4,000 people in Korea was homeless, compared to Europe, which is 370 people, 1 in every 370 people. Like if you look at those statistics next to each other, it seems like Korea is doing much, much better, but they exclude a lot of people from the statistics. So that's going to make it seem like there are less homeless people. And I mean, even thinking of like the media that we've consumed, like in terms of like critiques of capitalism, or even just like even K-dramas is prominent, where like people are struggling economically. Like most Korean media that I have consumed either involves someone struggling economically, or they find a millionaire businessman who's going to sweep them off their feet and take them away and make everything all good again. But like money is like a constant struggle in like most of the media that we've consumed, especially like on Netflix. It's like the K-dramas that are put on there, or even just like thinking Squid Game. Like in Squid Game, homelessness is very much in the second season. We see a lot of like houseless population, where he's doing the game where he's like, I'll give you a lottery ticket, or I'll give you bread.
And they all get the lottery ticket.
Yeah. So it's just like there's definitely an inequity and like issue in Korea, because it's across multiple media strains. And it seems like, it's not that they don't exist, but that, as you said, Gabe, that they are good at moving them around or hiding them away. I think being in a train station specifically is like, if you can get enough money to get on a train, you're not homeless in Seoul anymore.
Yeah.
You're in a different place. Thinking of like programs that they're trying to implement in the United States, where it's like, to get people out of the city, they just put you on a train somewhere else. And then like, you're not a part of the homelessness statistics in that city anymore, because they've shipped you off to somewhere else where they can't keep track of you. You've disappeared.
Yeah. You're somebody else's problem.
So in Korea, Junong Daily, they list on paper Korea's disappearing homeless people. So it's a similar, I would think like Train to Busan is activated by the fact that like the zombies start in the station and then can get on trains to be sent to all the other places. And then now you can't contain or track the virus because you're just sending them off. And similar with the homeless people will disappear if you just put them on a train and send them away.
Yeah, they don't.
And you don't know if they've survived when they get to the other side, or if they're being taken care of in the smaller provinces that they end up in, or even if they survive the trip because of their medical needs or whatever. Like it's, there's a lot of like skewing of statistics to make it seem like it's better than it actually is. At least that's what it seems like based on this article and a lot of the media that we've consumed from Korea. That like, since they said specifically that there was the 1997 Asian financial crisis is what like made all of this kind of like dominoes fall. Where like there's just a lot of poverty that developed from that crisis, and it just continues to like compound as we're entering into late stage capitalism. It has not necessarily gotten better.
No.
Like, and it's like, if you look at this, they have a spreadsheet where it's like the number in terms of decrease has not decreased much, and it has increased in the last year. So it's like, we think 5,448 to 4,775. That's not that much of a decrease. Or from 2022, 4,775 to 2023, 4,651. That's like 100.
Yeah.
People like in terms of changing of numbers. And in terms of on the streets versus welfare facilities, it's like a 300 human difference. Like the numbers are not decreasing at a rate that would show substantive
like an economic upturn or anything. Like these people are not getting jobs and then being able to afford a house. Like that's not what's happening. Like they're not becoming, financially independent so that they can, exist off of the street. It says they've went somewhere else, or they have ended up in a different qualification, right?
And it's also like thinking of like the cost of houses and like cost of living. Like you can have a job and still end up homeless, especially like in America. There's a large percentage of people who have jobs and are just still homeless or like living in their car or couch surfing. Like we don't make enough money in order to stay a lot of the times, and the people who are like, we're lucky comparatively. Like, and it's really just a matter of luck. You are thrown down the steps without shoes once, and you are in the homeless population. Is like what they're kind of using Haesun to like represent, is like you will be looped in. You could be homeless.
She was always on the brink.
Yeah, like you're one paycheck away. Like your boyfriend's considering putting you online, like for sale. Like it's not.
Yeah, like you're not doing any better. You were not any better than them. Even though
like just because you have this apartment,
so. She was like, "Help me! I'm not homeless." Like she did try to put herself out there as meaning more than them because of that flimsy thing that like from a a larger standpoint, like looking from afar, she is in the same boat, right? Like, but it's that same mentality that keeps a lot of people
there's
in
someone
poverty.
Always worse than us.
If there's someone's worse than you, then you're not on the bottom.
Mickey 17.
Yeah, right, exactly. And so I think like that is really important. I mean, in Philadelphia itself, we've had we have a very large houseless population in Philadelphia. And we also have a terrible drug epidemic right now as well. And so we've had instances where, our mayor has just shipped people off. Question mark, where did they go? We don't know. They're just gone. Yeah. They just showed up one day, put them in vans, and they were gone. And the systems and the programs that had been taking care of them and supporting them were not even allowed to be there. It was a trick,
And and like the communities that were built, like if you think of like the encampments and stuff, it's like they take all their stuff and like what little they had that they had developed as a community, and then like throw it in the trash and like burn it. Like they're removing their ability to even get on their feet, or like build something. And it's like, we don't own this land,
right?
And so the lines are imaginary. It's stupid.
And having all the houses,
we made it all up.
Yeah, having all the houses that are empty.
Yeah, and that's a big thing at the end of this movie.
Yes.
It's like the model home of like, there's all this house and all this space, and they're not letting anyone live in it.
Yeah.
It's for show. It's pretend.
Yeah. And she, that ends up being her sanctuary for a minute, but it's also like so heartbreaking because you think about it, it's like it's wasted space. Like they're not using it, and then you saw all of those people, and that's the same thing here, and I'm sure all across not only the country but the world, where we have in capitalist governments where we have homes that go unused because they're waiting for people to have absurd amount of money to be in them, versus like using that land and using that space to house people. But I even think about like when we're shipping people off, right? If you think of the bros at the front, right, at the beginning of this, you might ship off someone's bro. That was the one person that cared about them. And just because they also happen to be unhoused, like we can't be together. There's also the layer, like there is a conversation where, someone talks about having fought for the country and that he deserves better than this, which is kind of funny, specifically in Korea, because all the men do. All the men do 2 years. But I think he was like, I did more than mandatory 2 years, and you have civil servants who are also doing work and things like that who also feel, it more important. But that being said, like here in America, if you're a houseless person and you are a veteran, you can't get your VA benefits if you do not have an address. So you can't so even that, even the country paying you back for the work that you did and for, probably severely damaging your life and your mental health and maybe even your body, you can't even get that payment that could eventually help you get on your feet because you don't have an address. Same thing with a lot of like you can't renew your license. You can't, some jobs are going to be hard to get even. So it's just like the bars on the ground for like support, like just basics. You need a location. And so that's why some of those places like shelters or churches will often open themselves up as an address for people and like, you know, collect mail and have that stored for them, have programs like, you know, in Philly, we do have some places that do that. We'll do testing, we'll, you know, have health evaluations, we'll, you know, have clothing banks, food banks, things like that to support people. But it's like nowadays it's even harder to find that support and to fund those institutions when we're caught up in the rhetoric of those people mean less. Like we're feeling that really strongly right now, just with, you know, so the few programs that we had that were supporting people who need.
They're like defunded or gutted.
Gone.
Or because of the shutdown, people aren't getting SNAP benefits in November. Like,
yeah, right. So it's just,
and like people are cheering about that. Like it's gross.
Right. In the health insurance as well. Like so many people who are misunderstanding what that is.
The whole reason for the shutdown is that they're trying to protect us so that our insurance premiums don't go up. And then the Republicans are like,
yeah, or like that fun, like your stuff doesn't go away. Like there's so much of that. Yeah. And also like you were saying with the bus before or the train, like us sending people on the train. Yeah, and in Philadelphia, they're trying to do a new thing where they have one-way tickets. They will pay a one-way ticket for a person who is unhoused and just to send them somewhere. And at first I was like, what the hell? Like that's awful. Like, oh, it'd be someone else's problem. It's still technically that, but it does have the clause that they will only send you to a place if there's someone to pick you up on the other side. So kind of like in the way that if you're sleeping on someone's couch, you no longer count, but you still count, you know, in the larger scheme of things. This is essentially that, where we're like, okay, well, our numbers will go down for one, because you're not here anymore, but for two, because at least you got a roof over your head for who knows how long. Like there has to be a reason why that wasn't an option in the first place. But we do, like Philadelphia itself is much like a stopover city where people end up here, or people maybe have ended up here because of the drug crisis. And so kind of waking up one day and finding like, oh, I don't have any money to get home could be a saving grace. And so there are like, there's parts of that I'm like, okay, I understand. It's just like, it's an immediate, like,
questionable.
Like a weirdness to be like, oh, the answer to our unhoused situation is to just send people away. It's like, okay, that's not, because they still exist. They don't stop existing when they're not here.
You just put them somewhere else.
Which is like what we were seeing in that.
Well, that's just what they hope.
Right.
Probably, unfortunately. Yeah.
So if we don't see them, it's not real. Object impermanence here. But that's not true. So like, that's what we're also seeing in Seoul Station. So like I say, like when we're watching things like this, I do see a lot of parallels to things that we're going through. Like even just like literally any Bong Joon-ho, like Parasite has very much that commentary of like the classism, but also like the people who were housed, it still was like the worst conditions, right? Like the fact that you have like the subterranean homes, like you're living in basement levels. So you're getting flooded out and you're, you know, like that, how you're, you're one step away from being the unhoused folks in the Seoul Station. And at least I will say this, at least in Seoul, like in some of these countries, they have public restrooms and they have, you know, places where people can lay down, and they don't have like the architecture that we have to dissuade people
like,
from
like
and that we don't have public restrooms. Like it is impossible for anyone, and it's a part of that. Like we're not going to address it, we're not going to look at it and acknowledge that it's a problem, so we don't ever have to do anything about it.
And I mean, I will say, like, the one bummer about this film is that it does leave you sad, to spin off my emotional face that it's made, is that like when you get to the end, you're not gonna like have a feel good moment, unfortunately. So that is like if you're not in a good headspace before putting this film on, that is something to know about. Because it is just very sad. And it kind of reminded me of like Perfect Blue in a way, where you just have like this very like tragic character that you're like witnessing all this horrible stuff happen to. And you feel kind of helpless in like witnessing this, and like there's not necessarily happiness at the end of the credits. Like, and you're gonna feel that while watching this, kind of like life, unfortunately. But like our hope is that there are moments of happiness even when you are struggling. We have to have hope. So if you're in a place where like I'm struggling with hope right now, maybe don't watch this movie.
And especially because it's a prequel, rough. We know that it doesn't solve the problem because it leads to what is the problem eventually. I think I still think it's very strange that they chose to make this animated. I wonder if it was a financial decision, because it probably was maybe cheaper or just different.
Well, at first I thought it was like, because you said it was 2016, so I was like, oh, I thought it was like they made it animated because like it was 2020 and they couldn't get people in, you know what I mean? I thought it was more because of that, and it had nothing to do with that.
Which is it really is like a precursor to COVID too, right? Like like in the way that the zombie virus overtook them so fast, and they were neglected and, you know, unsupported. Like, I'm sure during the COVID pandemic, it was a similar situation, you know, just like without this specific kind of death. I guess like it was just different. It was different. It was quieter death, you know, still, you know, infecting each other. But it is sad. And I think that's something that, you know, foreign horror always gets right way more than American horror. Like, I don't know what it is about the softness of America that we can't handle some of the heavier things. Like, I just did a back-to-back screening where I watched Speak No Evil, which is like it has I think it's Dutch is the first one, and the second one is the remake, the
American remake.
I don't know, the adaptation.
Or it's just like
that's American, completely different, and like it's a whole different film. It goes on for much longer, the American one, but there was really clear differences. But the big thing is like the ending of the original is really rough and heavy, and it was like I was like that made me so sad, because it really was just like really we can do nothing, and you're frustrated and you're mad, which is like the point. Like, you want to be frustrated and mad. And then in the American one, it was like, it's okay. We just got to fight through. And now we have guns. And, you know, and I'm just like,
now we have guns.
I don't know why we have to do that. So I feel like, you know, I love that, like, America has never tried to do a Train to Busan, because, like, one, we have like one train, you know? First of all, our train systems suck. And that's a horror story in itself. So it would be weird to do. It'd be sad.
A lot of our country does not have public transit infrastructure. Right. We're very, even in Philly is like diminishing public transit system because of the government.
It still like exists.
It's still better than a lot of places, and that's saying something. Yeah.
I would say that was like one of my favorite parts about being in Korea and Japan was like especially Korea, like they have their specific, like when you're traveling, you know which exit to go, like which like one to go, where you're standing, and they have lovely little chimes that tell you where you are. Like there's so much to it that's like that thought went into it that it's clearly like, you know, that's a staple. And even in the film, like she says like, oh, I'm at exit 4, right? And so they know exactly where she is, right? Like that's different than if I was just like, oh, I got off at Ellsworth Federal, you know? Like where, which corner, like, you know, what are we doing?
There's two sides.
You know, but it's like, and if you're in any in between of the two trains we got, like what are you gonna do, right? So I'm glad we haven't made one, and I don't think we should make a animated Seoul Station in America, because that also would, I think, like we'd have to acknowledge our problems. And we don't like quite have a Bong Joon-ho here in America making those distinctions and commentary in their film, which is why he's doing it here. He came over here. He was like, "I'm making 17." Yeah,
he's like,
a universal issue.
Came over to Korea and did all this damage, and now we're dealing with that. And then now you're not even recognizing it in your own country.
Yeah, so I was like, "Hold on, let me Let me come over here and tell you what you got going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, that's Seoul Station. Any last thoughts, Kat?
No, it was good. I liked it less than I thought I would, but more than I thought I would after seeing the ending. I thought I would feel sadder about it because generally I'm very sensitive.
Yeah.
But like, I thought it was a good, like, I understood the purpose of the sad ending, even though it was depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate that it like did not pull any punches. Like it really was just going. And I feel like watching it after Blood Quantum is probably part of that too.
Yeah.
Because it's similar in the way where you're like, ow, this was just sad.
Yeah.
But like I get why it was sad. It needed to be kind of. And it was that. But I understand why it has mixed reviews and why a lot of people like didn't love it on the internet. So I validate that. But I actually did like it.
I will amend
what about you?
What I said. Us by Jordan Peele is right on par with Parasite, I think, in the classism, and you know, in the specific structures that we have that is unique to America that Korea does not have, which is we also have racism. So that's like a core American value. Like I amend that. We have some folks who are out there doing it. I just think we could use some more. We could use some more overt commentary and pulling less punches. I think we often do that. Like, and I don't know. Maybe people are afraid, but no, I agree. I think it was like a sleepy film. It was telling me what to do, and I understood it, and I didn't really have to think too much. And I was surprised. Like you said, I really didn't know I was not going to be able to call any of the things that were happening. And that was enjoyable because I could actually just sit there and just like let things happen. And every time it was really obvious, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, thank you. That's true. And that was like, I don't know. I found that fun.
I am tired and you helped me know what to think, and I actually appreciate that.
So I totally get like people who hate on it because they're like, oh, the animation sucked and it was like so in your face. And some people just don't like that stuff, and I get it. It's definitely not like a top favorite. Like, I love this film. Everyone should watch it.
I don't think I'll ever talk about it again. But it was good. Yeah. Yeah. And like, unless someone was like, have you seen Seoul Station? And I'd be like, yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. It's totally fine. And I agree. I think it's totally fine. And I appreciate Wimojo for suggesting it. And because I don't think I would have watched it. But I hope you liked it and our analysis of it, and you maybe give it a shot. Let us know what your thoughts are. Have you seen Seoul Station? Is there a different animated Korean film that you want us to see, or other animated horror? We're doing some more this month and next. So remember to subscribe and leave comments and likes.
Like, comment,
Please support us. And don't get married.
Let your kids.
There was no kids in here. Yeah.
Well, maybe that's partially because the statistics in Korea don't count children as homeless.
Yeah. So they were like, they're not there. And there wasn't a lot of women either. Yeah. Like women like in the homeless like space. It was it was mostly men. So I think they were like, this is what we have, and we can't have them calling them homeless unless. Yeah. So interesting. It reflects the statistics, so it's interesting. Yeah. All right. Bye.